Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is a place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got a ridiculously good guest today. We're going to be talking about in-house listing appointments. We're going to be talking about ISAs, listing lead generation, radio, branding, and the smaller local market. We've got a ton of stuff to cover today. We'll get into that here in a second. So we just want to bring in right now the junior grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel, in the co-pilot seat. Greg, what's up today?
Sir Pimps a lot. Happy Friday to you. How are you?
That's a new one. Okay.
As you guys always know, I'm always trying to figure out a way to get Matt to go, what the fuck did he just say? How does he come up with this stuff?
Yes, no, usually it's right before we go on the air, but fortunately he stuffed his mouth full of God knows what, carrots, sunflower seeds, who knows.
Well, it wouldn't be carrots. I'd be spitting them at you if I sesame seeds or something in my mouth. But, Matt, I want to tell you something really, really cool, something, a side effect that is starting to happen based upon my Facebook Lives, the podcast, and everything else. One, I think I talked about the fact the other day the guy called me up, Elmer, wanted to come out and list his 1.5 and help him sell and buy another one. I'm getting multiple. I shared a very, 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 very personal live Facebook yesterday, and I didn't know what to make out of it, but I just knew that based upon some things that happened in my past, that other people might be having them. So I shared something very, very personal about my past, and I had a massive outpouring of people that have reached out to me, and a lot of people, which I think is super, super cool, and I'm more than honored and humbled by this, but they're following me on multiple different channels, and they're starting to say, hey, Greg, I feel like I know you, and I am so humbled to you guys for watching me, following me, interacting with me. So I just, when you guys see this, thank you beyond words. It is truly a blessing.
Yeah. And well, let's actually bring in our guest, because I'm curious. It sounds like you probably have that same effect. So Andy Mulholland from Rochester, Minnesota. Andy, what's going on today?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, good. Yeah. So you're on radio and you got a ton of stuff going on. You're pretty well known in your market. So how do you get that kind of same response where people see you out in public and they kind of feel like they know you?
Yeah, I mean, more and more. I've done video marketing for several years, just online video marketing, and kind of like Greg was just saying, just like people just feel like they know you before they even meet you, and you just kind of they get to know you on a personal level. And so I've been doing that for a long time, and that's kind of built some of that too, but then you take it to the whole nother level when you start talking about big media like radio and billboards and TV and endorsements and those kinds of things. So
yeah, it's huge. It's an interesting effect. It almost it doesn't eliminate the need for a unique selling proposition necessarily, but just you being on and owning a platform or being on other media platforms takes on a life of its own and almost becomes a unique selling proposition because you've become this mini celebrity. And then, of course, Andy, I noticed you were on the guaranteed sale on top of that, which a lot of the guys in rate do as well. So I'm sure that works extremely well in that market.
Yeah, no, it really does.
I've been trying to get my team to sack up and actually do that, but they won't do it, and it drives me batty. Because I think it's an amazing offer. It shows some balls, but my team's ballless at the moment. Apparently, it drives me nuts.
Yeah, your dad's old school. And the reason, for those that don't know, the reason I call Greg the junior grandmaster is because his dad, Terry McDaniel, the T Diddy, is the grandmaster of real estate. 40+ years 43. Of experience. 43. Yeah, Terry's the man. So.
Dude. Yeah, well, I have a little shout-out for the T Diddy when we get out to the shout-outs, too.
All right, good. All right, so real quick, just wanted to thank Viral Marketing for helping make podcasts and hangouts like these happen. So you can learn what they do for Greg. So they actually run Greg's East Bay Real Estate video blog. Just check him out at gregsmarketingexamples.com. You can see his YouTube channel, the emails they send out for him, his blog that they built for him, and stuff like that. And Andy, you're a client as well, I believe.
I am, yeah. We love Viral.
Yeah, they're awesome. So I was just met with Frank yesterday, the CEO over there, talking about some cool stuff. They help support the show. Just want to publicly thank them for doing that. They are phenomenal. Yeah. And then if you would like to support the show, but also support yourself and get more content, which we put out for free 3 times a week, subscribe on YouTube. We're still waiting for some people to jump on and watch us live, which we always have. Just want to thank you guys for doing that. But if you want the audio version, just nestled right here between your ears where it belongs, audio. Yeah. Very, very good. So it's iTunes and Stitcher. Head on over to that and subscribe. So let's get into a quick question. There was one that caught my eye because both of you guys have recently brought on an ISA, and they're always big topics. You've got companies like 1,000 Calls a Day, the Jeff Cohn co-owns. Did a hangout with him and Tim Heil, who runs Phone Animal, which is blowing up, and then I know Josh Rockerbox. Those guys do like lead follow-up for Boomtown leads. So this is like the latest rage. So Lori Rainbow asked, anybody out there who's an ISA or has an ISA on their team, I'm looking for some input on how to measure success. Is it dials, contacts, appointments, listings, whatever? I've heard 100 calls a day with 20 contacts and 2 appointments a day is a good goal, but I'm wondering what actual results look like with someone here. And so let's go, Greg, to you. So you just started working with an ISA. Do you have specific standards, or are you seeing what he can do first and then standardizing from there?
He was working with another team, and ironically, Andy and I, both of our ISAs are named Chuck, so Chucks Unite. And so Chuck, when he came on to us, he was, we were giving him, his old team was giving him cold leads, like expireds, all that stuff, and he was able to set 16 appointments a month, not leads, appointments, listing appointments a month for his team, and so I'm feeding him hot leads. And we've been doing this for, I don't know, a week and a half now. I mean, he's brand new. He's a viewer of the show. We took the McDaniel challenge. We got to know each other. We hired him, and today he has a triple hitter, a referral into Santa Rosa, a buy sell here, a sell in Walnut Pleasant Hill, a buy in Oakland. We have another buy sell. So he has potentially 5 already sides in a week and a half. So I'm very
opportunities essentially that he's uncovered. They're not appointments set necessarily, but opportunities.
Well, we're setting a listing appointment for this weekend, and that's in lieu of that's another buy side in Alameda or Oakland. So yes, these are appointments that are being set. He's probably talking to Eileen as we speak, getting these things measured up. I didn't know
how many calls he's making a day.
Well, that's something I'm not going to talk about actually. Okay. But it is let's say he's probably, I'm saying he's probably outbounding around 1,000, and getting the callbacks and everything else. But it fluctuates. That's why I didn't want to talk about it, because I don't really know. I didn't want to say a number that's wrong. Yeah. But I'm guesstimating around 1,000 outbounds, and right now I have absolutely. I bet if he could set 16 appointments, we'll probably list anywhere from 10 to 12 of them, depending on where they're going to go, because personality differences and everything else. But if we get the T Diddy out there, we'll knock down all 16 if they have a real need to desire to sell. Right. So let's come back to this in 4 months, and I'll be able to have much better answers for you. But I'm very hopeful for the first time, because I've used ISAs in the past, they just haven't worked out for us.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's turn to you, Andy. What's your stance on that?
Yeah. So I mean, as far as keeping them accountable, tracking, what our expectation is, we use kind of a 13-week rolling scorecard. It comes from a book called Traction by Gino Wickman, and so we track on the 13-week rolling tracker, I guess you could say. And I track, at the end of the day, the key metric for that ISA is appointments set. There's some value to actually set versus met, so we look at that, but the goal is based around that set, obviously. And so we look at that every week. Track how many set per week, and then on a 13-week total, we can see over that 13-week period if we're winning or losing. So that's kind of how we do that. We expect the goals based around him setting 10 appointments per week for our buyer's agents. So we have buyer's agents, that's 2 appointments per week that he's setting. They are also doing some prospecting at this point to kind of help out. So that's an additional what they set. And then 11 appointments per week. 20 appointments per week is 6 on the buy side and 6 on the listing side.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're getting a little bit of Greg. Were you getting him breaking up a little bit? Okay. Yeah. So Andy, run us just a little bit through the just to make sure we heard the goals correctly. So did you say it was 10 on the buy and the listing side per what cycle?
Per week, so 10 buyer appointments per week.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, because before we were talking about this before we went on the air. So you have kind of a unique experience with your ISA. He actually started on the listing side, and then now you're moving him over, and he's kind of effectively sounds like he's scrubbing internet buyer leads and then setting appointments for your buyer's agent team. Do I understand that correctly?
That's exactly.
Gotcha. Cool. Let's see if we can. Why don't you throttle down your your bandwidth a little bit there at the top and see if we can get your audio at least clean. So for those that if you're joining us live or if you're listening to the replay on this, so Andy is broadcasting from a hotel room, so anytime you're on like shared Wi-Fi, you kind of have some of these issues sometimes. So there was another one in the meantime while we wait for him to hop back on.
Okay.
Let's take another question here. There was something that caught my eye that'd be good for you, Greg.
Oh, good. Well, it wouldn't want anything bad for me, Matt.
Well, yeah.
That would be unfriendly.
All right. All right, there we go. So Andy, you're back.
Good. Awesome.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I think a little bit better. So, so there's another question that caught my eye. You guys can both give your perspective on this, and then we'll give some shout-outs and then dig into Andy's story and a little bit more on the details of how they run their in-office listing appointments. But so Matt Allen asked, my weakness is picking up the phone and calling people to set appointments. I'll make every excuse not to call someone. How do you overcome this? And he gives us the specific example being expireds. So I know we talked about this before we went live. So Andy, you've done some. Obviously, you've prospected for listings, and you said about half of those were expired and FSBOs and stuff like that. So you were personally calling yourself, right? Especially in the early days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So did you ever have that issue, the call reluctance?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I think we all do as whether we're the rainmaker or the agent, whatever we are. I mean, that's naturally not our style, so it's difficult. There's only a certain kind of person out there that likes doing that, and we hire them as an ISA eventually. But
that's right. We hire them. What's your? Do you know offhand what your disc profile is, Andy?
Yeah, I'm 99D, and then mid S.
Mid S, really? Okay, interesting.
Yep.
So are you like super low on the I, or like 30s, 40s?
Yeah, super low. I don't know what the number is, but barely hitting that level.
Barely breathing, barely alive.
So you like systems and not people.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, at the end of the day, what I've understood or what I figured out how to do is in these appointments is to raise that eye and bring it up. Yeah. But it's a challenge, and it's totally fake.
So Matt, we found your brother from another mother.
Well, kind of, except my disc profile is 99D, 99I, but I am by nature an introvert, which means it just, like, I enjoy people, but being around people, it diminishes my energy faster. I don't feed off of it. I feed off of being alone, and if I get enough alone time, then I can go out and be with people and be magnanimous and gregarious and fun and all that stuff, but it does take effort.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit different. But you're definitely a systems guy, Andy. So, is it something that you just pushed through the call reluctance in order to kind of hit your goals, or was there a breakthrough of any kind?
I mean, thinking back, it's been a while since I really made any prospecting done. So I think thinking back on it, it's just what I had to do. I mean, it's trying to figure this thing out and build the team, and you just find it deep down. But I think part of it is having the systems and the processes so that you stick to them. Just trying to every day muster the courage, you just follow your calendar, and then you don't have to think about it as much. I think that was a key. But having a picture of my family on my desk, was just enough for me, and got over that reluctance. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, to get over your reluctance, you have to find what your why is. Why are you doing the calls? Is it strong enough to pull you through that fear, or is it going to keep you hindered and hidden away? But as Tony Robbins always says, you have to get into state. You have to make that decision that you're just going to make these calls. You have a reason why you're doing it. Then as soon as you're done, you move on with your day. What's the book called Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, I want to say. Talk about eating the frog, which is doing the scariest, worst thing you can imagine that day. So maybe it's making those calls, and then the rest of the day is free. Then you won't procrastinate. But understanding and knowing your why is what I have found for door knocking and calls. Is I gotta get up and I gotta freaking do it. End of story. If there's nothing on that board, I don't eat, and I like to fucking eat. So you know what? I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna grind. If I see someone doing better than me, I don't hate on them. I'm just gonna do everything humanly possible to chase them down and destroy them in the nicest possible way that could ever be said. But it's it's just that's my why. I want to just crush heads. And so that's what's gotten me up and put me in the chair, put me on the doors, done everything else. So it's the why.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, before we get into the specifics of what you've done and what you built, there's a lot that we can go into. So let's let's give a couple shout-outs. Why don't we give Greg a chance to shout out to some people and talk about the McDaniel Challenge before we dive in.
My peeps, my
Right.
peoples, my brothers from another mothers and sisters from another mother. Okay, you guys are first off are freaking amazing. Our YouTube channel, guys, we're at 2,377. Epically awesome. It is all because of you. Thank you beyond belief for all you guys sticking around watching us. You know, we really love it. I'm going to move fast through this because I have a lot of people I want to talk about. But first and foremost, Matt, Andy, yesterday was the T. Diddy, the Grandmaster, the Terry McDaniel, father of mine's 66th birthday. So, Dad, happy birthday to you. I know you'll never watch this, but you know what? Still happy birthday to you. It was great hanging out with you. Sophia took the MCC, McDaniel Challenge. Great kicking it with you. I hope your dinner was nice as we ended our call, and I hope that I can assist you down the road. Sean, look forward to talking with you next week, dude. Kim Allberg-Stanner. I think it's Stanner. Kim, she used to be my babysitter, dude. And she reached out to me this morning. Yeah, her dad, Tim, and my dad have worked together in real estate here in the area forever and a day. She's the one that says she feels like she knows me, and I cannot wait to get her on the McDaniel Challenge. Diana, PJ, you guys are amazing. Thanks for always hanging out with me and chatting with me on Facebook. Brian, thank you again, dude, for respecting my time every time we talk. And I cannot wait to talk to all of your new young agents and get them on a couple of McDaniel Challenges. Misty, you're in the office with Neely, so nothing can go wrong with Neely around. She's the most wonderful woman. Jackie reached out to me to take the McDaniel Challenge. Awesome, can't wait. Gory, you got booked up. So Jackie and Gory, Matt, Gory took the 28th, Jackie took the 29th. There is one spot left in June, and we into July for the McDaniel Challenge.
Awesome.
Alex from Australia, dude, what's up, player? Bam. Thanks for reaching out to me. I'm glad that you're liking the Kevin Turner's podcast, the appearance I did on that all this week. And then we're looking to grow our team. I have a young lady that reached out to me. We're working through some logistical things. So if you guys are in the area, or if you know anyone who's thinking about getting into real estate here in my market, that you can't join your team, but wants to get into real estate, let them get a hold of me. You guys know my number because here it comes. After I cough directly into the mic. McDaniel Challenge is an hour and a half to 2 hours. Us, me, you, maybe your business partner or whatever. It's free. Hope that's clear enough. We get in and talk about anything that's stopping you, blocking you, holding you back, that's not letting you be the agent that you want to be. Guys, June 30th is my last time in June. Then we jump into July. Holy shit. Then that next day, Matt, is Monday, July 4th. Well, I'm not calling anyone on July 4th, guys, so we're moving forward after that.
And then the next day is my birthday, which is clearly out.
Oh, yeah, of course. Is it really July 5th?
It is, yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Well,
and you know how much I love people, so like people firing off fireworks at midnight the night before my birthday. It's just the best birthday present ever.
Happy birthday to me.
Yeah, exactly. Great. No sleep. Fantastic.
Phenomenal. Thank you. No, but guys, book it now. Dial 925-915-1978, 925-915-1978, guys. It really does work. Right here, I always show this to you. It lights up and everything. It's like a cool toy. Right. And make it ring, people. Make it ring. That's so right. I'm done. That was fast,
right, cool.
Furious.
Well, I mentioned viral marketing already, so go to gregsmarketingexamples.com to check out more info on what they do for Greg. And then the team building workshop that Jeff Cohn runs up in Omaha, just got back from that a couple weeks ago. That was phenomenal. A lot of top guys are going in to do that to learn how to build a dominant real estate team. So just go to eliterealestatesystems.com, go to the workshop page. You can actually register right there. The next one is on May 23rd, and then we're opening a couple of dates up in June. So go check that out.
We also need to say, hey, guys, follow me, friend me on Facebook. Go follow me on Facebook, guys. You'll see all my Facebook Lives. Follow Matt on Facebook. Watch his Facebook Lives, his content you won't get on this show, okay? Matt and I have unique skill sets, each speaking to our strengths. So if you like Matt more, I am sorry for you. If you like me more, I congratulate you.
Sick bastard. All right. Yeah, Craig McDaniel, it's how you find him. McDaniel Systems on Twitter and all that stuff. And then I am Pursuing Results on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram.
Damn, you have Snapchat? I want Snapchat.
That's right. All right, guys.
I'll Snapchat you.
Let's dive in. All right, so Andy, back to you.
Yeah.
All right, so first of all, we kind of skipped this in the beginning. So give us the 60-second kind of catch-up version on tell us a little bit about your market, how long you've been in the business, and what your progression was like to where you're at now.
Yeah. So I'm in the Rochester, Minnesota market. It's about an hour south of Minneapolis-St. Paul Metro, and we've got the Mayo Clinic here. We're our own little kind of unique community down here, really not tied at all to the Metro community, very different. With the Mayo Clinic, we just have so many transient people that keeps the market pretty active. Residents coming in every year, leaving 3-4 years later, fellows and doctors that are doing the same. So, and then of course, income levels are good, so that keeps a lot of the residents as homeowners. So that's our market, about 110,000 people here.
Small.
Yeah, it is a small market. I got in the business let's say I was licensed in October of 2009, and really kind of got in. My first year was 2010. I did 28 transactions as a single agent. 2011 got to 48. 2012 went to 78.
Whoa.
2013 went to 105. 2014 only went to 112, and then this last year we went to 248.
Oh, whoa!
So we had.
How'd you do that? It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. No, there's a lot of little things. I mean, a lot of little things. Radio and TV marketing was a big part of that. It took some time. Honestly, what it came down to was focus. The reason in 2013 to 2014 I only increased by just a few transactions, 7, is because I was distracted by a piece of technology that just completely took my daily focus away. And it's just super clear in my mind that that's exactly why we just were flat from one year over the next, and then saw this huge increase because we finally got focused on what we needed to do every single day. We dove deep into Vern Harnish Rockefeller habits and just the quarterly rocks and having a big goal in mind and kind of rallying the team around that. And I think that was a big part of it as well. So just getting up every day, knowing what we had to do that day.
That's awesome. Having that direction is incredibly powerful, and I know you agree with that. I know for myself, having a goal or something that I'm going to attack every day, it makes it so much easier to get up and get moving, get into the trenches, and everyone have that one why, like Gary Keller. The one thing, have that one why. Do you guys have something like that, or do you guys you have a goal that you're trying to achieve? Do you have an agent you're trying to beat? Do you have something like that, or just straight growth in the team and growth in the numbers and just watch it, steadily progress? I mean,
we get pretty specific. I mean, we go right down, and we've got our BHAG, our 10-year goal. We've got our 3 to 5 year goal, our 1 year, and then our quarterly around that. And we get specific. We recently, in fact, right now, reason I'm in a hotel room is I'm in Houston doing some training on 4DX, so the 4 disciplines of execution, and it's an operating system very similar to Vern Harnish's and those rocks and those quarterly priorities, but it's a little bit more in depth. It involves a scoreboard, it involves a cadence of accountability, and it's just a powerful way to get up every single day and know exactly what you have to do, and then score yourself on it. Turn it into a game. Turn it into a game with a scoreboard. You create the game, and then you play the game, and you keep each other accountable to the game. So trying to have a little more fun with it, still be high producers and push ourselves and be specific in what it is we want to do, but take away that that boss getting on top of the agent, telling them what they have to do. They help create their priorities. They help create and design their own scoreboard, so they feel like their own player and they want to be a part of the game. So that's been our shift over the last few years. It's why I'm spending some time here, getting certified on 4DX. Is I think it's going to take us kind of one step further with that that daily vision and accountability. So
yeah, that seems to be a major difference. So there's 2 completely different approaches to goal setting, especially when you talk to real estate teams. You've got the leader at the top deciding he wants to go from 250 to 500 to 1,000, and then figure out how to do that. Or you've got the guys that bring in agents, and then they individually say, okay, what's your goal? And then they collectively add up all the individual agents' goals to kind of figure out where the overall kind of a team goal is. So I'm obviously you blend the 2 together. You've got your own personal goals as a team, but it makes a huge difference when the agents are setting their own goals for production.
Mm-hmm. It really does, because that's accountability. That's their dream. That's their why, and they move forward as a united front. I mean, why do people not do that more often? Are they just used to the old corporate structure, and they just say,
why are agents? Well, why are agents not setting their own goals, or why does the team leader set ego-based goals?
Yeah, team ego-based goals.
Yeah.
Are you referring to me, Matt?
No, I'm not. I'm actually not referring to you.
For once.
You're more process and lifestyle based, I would say.
We're just flying by the seat of my pants, and holy shit, this happens. You know.
Okay, sure, why not? All right, so let's get into the. So you guys you're on radio, you're on billboards, you're doing a little bit like you've got the endorsement, you're doing the Barbara Corcoran endorsement, you've got local endorsements, you've got a ton of stuff going on, very like a lot of over the top branding, marketing, and stuff like that that has really exploded your business. So now you have this ability, and you've built this system to bring potential sellers into the office and get them to sign the listing agreement in the office, right? So let's dive deep into that.
Yeah, so I mean, in-office listing appointments, I've been doing it for several years now, and I think at one point it just dawned on me. I think actually it was the point where I was getting peed on by a dog, and the background was screaming at their house because I was there. They were distracted. Their phone was ringing, and they were in the middle of making dinner while I'm trying to talk to them about how these great things we're going to do in our marketing plan. I finally it was enough. I said, we're done. That's it. I said either I'm going to figure this out on this in-office listing thing, or I'm going to get out of the business because this is just ridiculous. And of course, we were going to figure it out, and that's what we did. So, and for us, it's figuring out. I mean, that was maybe the drive to figure it out, is like, this just doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, it's convenient for the agent, but I'll tell you, we really believe and feel that it is in the best interest of that seller, because they are forced to make a decision on who they're going to hire based on merit and not on what they think the home is worth. And I get so tired of seeing that game being played, so we do not allow it to happen. They have to come to our office. Clearly, we can't give them an exact listing price at the office, and so they have to either decide at that point if we're going to move forward, based on what we're going to do in our track record, not anything about what we think the value of their home is. We think that's in the best interest of the seller to force them to do that.
Interesting. I've never heard someone doing that before. What is their response? I mean, do they push back on you a little bit, or they just kind of go with it? Or?
It depends on that personality. I mean, we've definitely probably lost the business because we just couldn't get the seller to understand that was in their best interest. There are those people out there that just think you need to see their home, and they need to be assured that they agree with you on the price before they will agree that you're the right fit for them. Mm-hmm. And I get that, so we try to give people a range and narrow that in as close as possible to provide some value in that appointment. But at the end of the day, we feel that we are able to provide a better service, even though we may lose a little bit of business from those people that just aren't gonna buy into it.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm actually really curious about that now because
let's go into the process of how appointments are set, who's setting them, and maybe that will kind of shed some light on how the sellers are being kind of led down this path to where they're you are positioning yourself as more of a consultant and not a salesperson maverick. I'm going to show up and we're going to get your house sold, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. That's how we position ourselves. I mean, okay, so the honest truth is part of it is because we're a little bit spoiled in the fact that we, at this point, and this is a mistake, but at this point, we don't do any outbound seller prospecting.
What? Really?
It's just all inbound stuff. We have enough that is coming in, and we've attracted enough, and that we don't have to chase it yet. Definitely an opportunity there, and we just haven't done anything about it yet. But it's inbound stuff. It's past client referrals. It's radio, billboard, TV, those kinds of things. So a lot of it is reputation. It's a small community. People are talking. I just got an email from a countertop store from the owner saying, "Hey, we want to get together. We hear you are the most aggressive marketer in the entire state, or real estate marketer in the entire state. We want to talk to you about doing something together." So it's that hype that's created inbound. That makes it a lot easier to set an in-office listing appointment.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because they already know you, like you trust you. You're not, hey, Greg McDaniel reaching out to Matt Johnson, who with Julie with their 3 obese babies who don't know Greg yet, and don't trust them because I'm not fat like the kids, so there's no bond.
My imaginary diabetic babies. Okay.
No, but that is one of the most blessed positions you can possibly ever be in. That is awesome. How many years did it take to get to that point, Andy? Just out of pure curiosity.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it came from when we really started to spend some money on marketing, and the endorsements and some of those things has helped. Like I said, it builds that instant credibility, and then people it's like your doctor. It's like, okay, you went to medical school, you've got credibility because of that diploma on the wall. I'm going to do what you tell me to do. And it's the same. It's the same thing. So we've always, after the first few years, probably really even the first year when I actually called for sale by owners and expireds. After that, I just really, focused on marketing and branding and building, that reputation of being the expert. That we've just been focused on that inbound stuff. So,
and who's returning the calls on the inbound inquiries, the opportunities that are coming in?
So it's a very important piece of the in-office appointment process, in our opinion, and that is to have a staff member or an ISA, setting those appointments. It very easily could be a staff member. That's going to be, the most efficient and potentially, inexpensive way to have this happen. Right now, our ISA, and it's always been that way, our ISA has handled it because he does do a very good job with handling objections of those people that don't get the in-office thing. There are some, and so he handles that well. But if we had a well-trained, well-scripted staff person, they could easily, handle that at this point.
But like Tim Heil, that's how he does it. So the new agents that they bring on to their team, like the first, their 100-day plan or whatever, is put them on the phones, and that's how they. That's how they bring new people in. That's how they find their talent. That's the first step into their organization. So, like, they do nothing but just sit on the phones for 8-10 hours a day. You'll get really, really good at that in a very short period of time, and that allows them to not have to pay for a full, quote, ISA team, even though, or at least it allows them to kind of pull double duty in the sense that they're training their new agents by paying them as ISAs, but then they move them out of the role and into the regular role as an agent and leaves room for somebody else. So that's another option if you're building a legitimately large and growing team and you have the capacity for it. That's another approach to kind of solve that problem of how do we return the leads to somebody who's qualified to do it inexpensively and not just throw leads at agents that then just get dropped and not followed up on.
Well, actually, my question, Andy, is this: when do you go out and actually view the home? Is like, okay, you've decided that we're the best agent. Okay, now we'll schedule something, and
to be honest, I don't go ever see the home myself. I send my team. Here's how we explain it. We say, look, most agents are going to show, if there's an objection anyway. We say, most agents are going to show up at your house with a predetermined price anyway. They've already put the CMA together in most cases. They walk around your house for 15 or 20 minutes. They tell you a few things about your home that they like, and a few things maybe you should do to get ready for the market. They're usually not completely honest with what you need to do and give you the honest truth advice because they're afraid you're not going to list with them. And then they tell you what you want to hear as far as the price goes. We call that buying a listing. So our approach is that we want you to hire us based on what we're going to do in our track record. And we are going to actually send our team to your home once we take the listing. So if you agree that we're the right fit, we're going to send our team to your home and dive deeper than just a 15 or 20-minute walk through your home. We send a stager. I send a stager for an hour on each listing that we take. They go room by room and tell the seller exactly what they need to do. We call her our aesthetic advisor. We pre-inspect every home. So we actually have an inspector go to the property and do the full, thorough inspection. Because I tell the client, I say, look, I don't know where to price your home. You don't know where to price your home. No one knows where to price your home until we know the in-depth condition of that property. What if our inspector gets in the attic and finds that you've got a leak and there's mold up there? You want that to happen now or later, and if we price it without knowing that information, but it's there, a buyer's going to find it later. There's a good chance it's going to fall apart, or they're going to negotiate the price down. So people get it because it just makes sense. We are a more in-depth advisor. It's like a doctor prescribing something before they've done the x-rays. So we do the x-rays, we do the CT scan, we do those things, but you're going to have to choose if we're the right doctor before we spend the money and the time and the effort doing all these things. So
that's a great analogy. I've never heard someone lay it out that way, but what I preach on this show is, everyone's like, how do you close a client? How do you close? And you're doing exactly what I tell people to do. You open the client with massive, massive value. And therefore, they just like, dude, Andy's the man. His team is it. We're in. There's so much value here. We don't care. You can price it at $1 if that's what it really is worth. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they know that they're in good hands. So guys, please listen to what he's saying. Stop trying to close people. It's old school. Open them. Give them value. Build a relationship. Try this this idea about bringing them into the office. I mean, that could be crazy enough to make you stand out in your marketplace because no one else does it. Make you more, make you super confident in what you're offering them.
At the very least, it should free your mind that you don't have to, like, if you get pressured to, you don't have to give in and quote them a price, at least up front in the listing presentation. Like, present the value first, get their agreement that you're going to work together, then go into the price. What's our pricing strategy? Like, you can still do it if you want to keep your listing appointments at their place because that's the way you've always done it and you're comfortable. There's plenty of people that do that. I mean, Jeff Cohen among them. I mean, he could bring people into the biggest, baddest real estate office on the planet. He still goes out and does a listing presentation in the house. It's a mindset thing. You should make the decision to work with me because I'm the best real estate consultant, and then I will advise you on the best pricing strategy to follow to get the most out of your home. And that's how you should, you have to educate people on how they should make the decision, get them to make the decision, and then you talk about pricing next.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
I'm on pressure.
That was one of the other things, other than getting peed on by a dog, is I was tired of giving people. I was tired of working for free. I just didn't feel like a professional. I felt like a salesperson. I was tired of spending an hour doing a market analysis, going to the home. All the while, they were just going to list as a FSBO, and they just wanted you to tell them where they should price it. I mean, there's huge value in an expert doing that, and I just got tired of doing it. So some of this came out of just pure stubbornness and my high D and all that stuff.
Well, this is what I love about the NAEA, too. Like, they actually teach you legitimately how to present yourself as an advisor, which all comes from, Jay Abraham's strategy of preeminence. I mean, it's there's so much. I don't think most real estate, run-of-the-mill agents get that about the NAEA, but if you really dive into their coaching and you dive into that, if all you get is just that strategy of preeminence part of viewing yourself as a consultant and an advisor, it would do wonders for your career.
Well, that goes right back to getting into state, getting your mindset, prepared so that when you walk in there, you're not a shivering, version of yourself going, oh my God, please list with me. I got a credit card bill. But you're going look, dude, your house sucks. We're going to price it lower. End of story. This is the reason why. Or, whatever else. But, I mean, I have done that exactly. Because I've told this story, Matt, with you. I mean, I wear, yes, my custom shirts, but I wear Lucky Brand's jeans and Vans tennis shoes. I mean, look, I'm not rolling around in some super high, highfalutin pair of shoes here. I'm just rocking the regular stuff. And you know what? I have never lost a single listing when I'm comfortable and I'm completely at home in my own skin and mentally in my mental capacity. Okay? And I think that, once you do that, everything that Andy and Matt and I are talking about is going to come second nature to you because you're just going to be so confident and be like, yeah, I already got this. What's up?
It's true. All right, so let's talk about, there was something that we covered before we went on the air that I wanted to make sure that we touched on live, which is the fact that, so your team as a whole and in the number of transactions you were doing were kind of tilted pretty heavily towards the buyer side. And then you jumped into the radio game and all of a sudden your listing business starts coming in, you still huge demand, inquiries, and all this stuff, and you had to kind of shift your business. So talk us through the process and what were some of the changes that you had to make in the team and in your systems to handle that shift from a buyer-heavy business to a listing-heavy business?
Well, I mean, part of it was the in-office appointments. I think pretty quickly, not going on a lot of listing appointments previously, it just didn't come up as often, where that frustration didn't come out as often with having to go to people's homes. And so once all of a sudden I'm going on several appointments a day, I just realized very quickly there's no way I'm going to be able to scale this and continue to be a listing agent because I can't do it. There's not enough hours in the day running all over the place going to people's homes, especially when they were just doing it to get a price out of you so they could list as a for sale by owner or something like that. So that was a big part of it. When we shifted to the seller side, I mean, I think we made some key hires in identifying a listing coordinator and really going through the process and getting as much of it off of my plate as humanly possible and identifying what things could be delegated to that listing coordinator. And today, literally, I meet myself or one of my listing agents will meet with a seller in the office. We'll spend, an hour with that person at the office. We really don't touch the listing again until the day we're going to go live or the day before, where we set the final listing price. We've already confirmed a small range, and then we set the final price and strategy, and then we don't touch it again until really we get an offer on that property. Everything else is handled by the listing coordinator. So that's allowed us.
So she's keeping in touch with the seller, giving them updates, coordinating all the back end stuff that's going on to leading up to and throughout the whole process, giving them showing feedback, all that stuff is the LC's job?
Correct. Yeah, I mean they really become the listing manager at that point. Through that entire process. Obviously, if there's occasions where we need to step in and it needs an agent to take care of something, and sometimes the seller just expects that or requires it. But other than that, and in most cases, she's better at it than I am. She does it more consistently. She knows what the seller's looking for. She knows how they communicate better than I do, because I only know them for an hour. She knows them for several weeks while she's helping them prepare their property for the market. So it's all based around what is best for the client to create the best experience, to get their home sold for the largest amount of money, and to avoid them working with, just a terrible agent.
Yeah,
So.
It's funny. You and I run our businesses exactly the same. I just call her the steel trap, Eileen, who's usually over here, but she's our listing coordinator. And I tell people that in the listing appointment, hey guys, I will be talking with you for anything that's going to affect the contract, in negotiations, requests for repairs, or anything like that. But after that, everything else is going to be run through Eileen. All appointments, all communication, everything is run through Eileen, and it is the most effective thing on planet Earth. Because being a high D, no. High D, high I, not going to happen. But she's an SNSD, so she loves it. She just gets it done. She's all system-based. So if you guys have an ability to go get one of these, highly recommend it, because you will not believe the amount of time that you have freed up for you to go do other things. And it could be,
that had to be huge for your quality of life.
Huge.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I'm usually, I'm home in the evenings, and I don't really work a whole lot on the weekends, and I can run the team 80% of the day, because only 20% of it I'm spending actually, working with sellers. So it works well.
Cool. So just real quick, what's the structure of your team overall? How many listing agents or partners? How many buyers agents? That sort of thing.
Yeah. So we have 10 people total. We've recently moved our our top buyer's agent over on the listing side. So he's my listing partner at this point. He's working with a few buyers yet. So he's in between, but we have myself and him, Joe, is our listing partner, and then we have the 4 buyer's agents, and then we have 1 ISA, Chuck, and then we have a listing coordinator, a closing coordinator, and then we have a front desk director of first impressions, right? So a front desk person. So that's our team. My wife does all of our accounting and bookkeeping, but that's a core of our team.
Cool.
That's
very
awesome.
Cool. Yeah. All right, so on the buyer's agent side, what are you guys doing or do you guys even need to generate buyer leads? Are you getting so many yard sign calls and anything like that? Are you still doing online lead gen for that?
Yeah, we are. I mean, we use Commissions Inc. Before that, we had used Tiger Leads, and as you know, they're all leads. But we do leverage Commissions Inc. We do things like we have our signs in the yard, we do an everyday open house sign to generate buyer leads. We do a voice pad sign and some of those things to generate leads as well. We do some Zillow marketing also. But yeah, that's about it. A lot of buyer side business comes from the listing side as well, obviously, if they're selling as well, if they're buying, and so we hand them off there too.
What's your kind of lead up to the listing before it goes live? What's your average process for the homeowner, and specifically, is there anything that you guys do to set yourself apart from other agents, such as pre-listing inspections, grabbing a listing warranty, that kind of thing? Anything that kind of gives you guys a competitive advantage in the marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, we do all of those things you mentioned. Number one is that we send that stager out to the home, which a lot of people just love that idea, and it's effective. She makes sure that it's ready. And then we do a pre-inspection that we pay for, and we send that inspector out. We think it's in our best interest to know. I don't want the deal to fall apart, so I want to make sure every home is pre-inspected. It also, like I said, helps us price it better, which, as you know, is the best marketing tool that there is the right price. So, and then we do professional photography, of course. We do leverage what we call certified listing. It's a listing that's been pre-inspected and includes an extended warranty. It's a HWA home warranty that the buyer gets. We explain to the seller that, for $500 you're going to see a huge return on that because your home is now warranted and the one down the street's not. Think about when he goes to a used car lot and there's certified cars versus those that are not certified, which ones sell for more? Well, the certified ones do, and they're pre-inspected and include a warranty. So we're going to do the same thing to your house. So we get them, just like we set ourselves apart, we set their home apart from the market by that. And then we leverage the guaranteed sale in here's the thing, is that most sellers do not want us to buy their home. They don't. But they understand that that it's putting our money where our mouth is. But we leverage it this way. We say, look, any buyer that now comes to your listing, we will guarantee the sale of their home. So imagine a buyer out there that has a home to sell, and they're scared that your home's going to sell quick, and they don't want to put their home on the market till they find a property, but they can't buy a property until their home's sold. Well, our guaranteed sale fixes that problem because they can now make a non-contingent offer on your home, knowing that worst case scenario, we're going to step in and buy their property. So don't you think that's going to make your home more attractive to buyers, bring more leads to the table, more eyeballs to on your home versus one down the street that doesn't have a guarantee attached to it? We're going to do that on your behalf. Does that make sense? And then they get it. So they realize the guarantee is not for them. It's to attract buyers to the listing that otherwise wouldn't have been attracted to it. So
that's an interesting flip on that.
I've talked to a lot of people about the guaranteed sale program. Never heard that spin on it before. That's really good.
I absolutely love it. I mean, it's that mother or father kind of parenting kind of what's the word I'm trying to it's a safety net for that seller. They know that they're going to be taken care of, and that really I'm in a situation right now. A young couple that just had their first baby. They're in exactly that position, and they're freaking out a little bit about what they're going to be doing about finding another property. So yeah, that's a great way of going about it. You must get a lot of good positive responses on that.
Well, yeah, especially in this market because our market, like other markets right now, are very low in inventory, and so multiple offers, buyers missing out on properties, and there's just all these buyers that think, I own a home right now, I'm not going to be able to buy a property right now because I can't buy until I sell, but I don't want to list until I find something. I don't want to live in a hotel until the right property comes on the market. So that guaranteed sale fixes that problem, and that buyer is now going to come and buy your home, Mr. Seller, because we offer the guarantee and nobody else in our market does. So it's literally something that no other agent has done, does in our market. So we are the only ones that offer that differentiating factor.
Why is no one else doing it? It's a genius move.
I don't know if they don't get it. They don't want to have to buy a home. I've bought 4 homes.
That's what it comes down to.
I've bought 4 homes. So we legitimately buy the property, and I think that scares people. That scares agents away because most of them can't afford to do that or don't know what they would do, and so yeah, I think that's probably why.
Well, let me ask you this, Andy: do you have different tiers of packages? So, a lot of people that run the guaranteed sale go in there, and that's like their, what do you want to call, like a platinum package or something like that. But most people are not going to go with the guaranteed sale because it comes with, I dictate the price. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I then dictate the price reductions at specific intervals in exchange for the guarantee, right? Doesn't sound like that's kind of how you operate. It sounds like that's, for the most part, your guarantee applies to all of your listings. Do you have different packages?
We've tried different things like that before. At the end of the day, it's more about what our criteria is for qualifying for a guaranteed sale, and it is that you have to be buying one of our listings. And therefore, most sellers that come to us to list their home, they're not interested in the guarantee. They're interested because we market very aggressively. So the guarantee is not for them, so therefore it really doesn't come up. But it's used as a marketing tool to attract buyers who otherwise wouldn't have been interested in their home because they have a home to sell. So that's really, that's what it's for, so that they get that. So we don't have to have a tiered package again because rarely does a seller that we actually list their home do the guarantee because it's not for them. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, that's really interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I've never heard that spin on it, so that's really interesting. So so what's the next step for you, Andy? So you've got your ISA that's kind of transitioning over and maxing out your buyer leads. Are you going to start building out that team? Is the plan to bring on more agents? What's the next steps for you?
Yeah, all of the above. I think number one for me is completely out of the listing role. I've recently had to get more involved because we weren't converting as well as we should have, and so I need to get back out of that so I can focus on the other things. As soon as that happens, honestly, it's preparing to be able to do those things you mentioned, adding to the ISA team, bringing on and training more agents. But before I do that, I've identified that I need an additional role on our team that I don't hear of often. Gino Wickman, who wrote the book Traction, also wrote a book called Rocket Fuel. And in Rocket Fuel, they talk about the integrator and the visionary. I'm the visionary. I'm 100% visionary, but I need somebody to help me integrate my vision and keep the team together. They're the glue that keeps everything going, and they implement my vision. They get the vision. They're typically not the kind of person that comes up with the vision, but they get it, and now they're going to go make it happen. I need that person because that's what's holding me back, is that I have all these things that we want to do, but I'm not the personality to be able to do them, and I don't like holding people accountable. I don't like the details, just all those things. So different than an operations manager, this person is the glue that holds everything together: sales, operations, HR, IT, marketing. They keep everybody accountable and on track for what the priorities are for the team.
So basically, they're the CEO. They're chief operating. They're just making sure everybody's doing their thing, and you're the chairman of the board, basically.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, COO, and then I may be the CEO, and they're the ones actually making it happen. So, I mean, that's exactly right.
I think that's a very that's a hard role to find, and if you find it, it's an expensive role because that's a huge skill set. I think Jeff Cohn, the way he went about solving that problem is he split that into two people. So he has an ops manager and a success manager. The success manager is the one that holds the agents accountable, does a lot of training, and then that frees up the ops manager to focus on managing the admin staff, implementing everything, running the marketing, running the lead gen systems. So it kind of splits up. Those are two very different personalities. The person that wants to coach agents is typically not the person that wants to dive into the details on the backside of a Google AdWords campaign. There's different ways to solve that problem.
Yeah, and I see where he's coming from. The way I see it is that you have a sales manager that's accountability manager. You have an operations manager that manages the listing coordinator, closing coordinator, and director of first impressions. But this integrator,
you want somebody like above that level that manages those two roles.
Yeah, it's yin and yang. It's like they're the yang to my yin, and we mesh. You're right though. They're a very rare breed, and that's the challenge. So there may be some things you have to do in the interim, so you're not completely slowed down until you find them. But I'm a believer now after seeing some of the examples and reading through that book that is a key piece that I think a lot of agents, because they're typically a high D, they're typically a visionary type person, and they're held back because they don't have that integrator.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you and I work together real well, Greg.
Yeah, no, it totally is. I was going to mention that.
Visionaries, but you have just a natural. You're always the one that's pushing the limits in terms of pushing the vision bigger to ridiculously 10x proportions, and then I'm the one that has to implement all this stuff, and then we talk about the vision together.
And we joke about it because I'll hit up Matt. I'm like, Matt, like I did it today. I'm like, dude, you've got to check this out. And he's like, shit, that means that I get to do all the work. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, that's a classic sign of the visionary too, is that they'll come up with 10 new ideas a day. 9 of them suck. There's one unbelievable idea in there.
Yeah.
It's the integrator's role to identify that great idea and shut them down on the other 10. So, Matt, you have permission to tell Greg that 9 of his ideas suck every day.
Thank you. I think I'll start doing that.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. I think I'll shut down.
You need to go listen to that. Go read that book, Greg.
Matt, I think we're having audio problems. I don't think anyone caught what you guys just said.
All right.
It's all just garble.
All right. Well, in the last couple minutes we have left, Andy, give us the quick rundown of how people can connect with you, and especially if they have a referral to send you there.
Yeah, so I mean, our main website is handyandyrealtor.com. We are the Handy Andy real estate experts. They can, contact me. Probably the best way to do that is either through our Facebook page, Handy Andy Real Estate Experts, or they can always reach out to our main office. They can get the phone number right off of our website, and that'll go right to our main office, and you'll get to me. So.
Yeah, cool. And that's so if you pump this out to your database and stuff, if anybody's listening to this and you know someone in the Rochester area that you think might be a good fit for that integrator role, obviously that would get Andy get a hold of him by phone or email immediately, because and we're talking about somebody that's probably outside the real estate field. They're working in they're an implementer, project manager, something. They have that strategic and strategic and project management skill set. So they're probably not in real estate sales right now. So if you know of someone that's in some other industry that you think might be a good fit personality wise and skill set wise, then hopefully send them over to Andy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. And then, Greg, you want to run through the McDaniel Challenge real quick, and then we'll put a little bow on this one.
I would, Matt. Of course, I'd love to talk about getting some time with these beautiful, wonderful people we call listeners and viewers. Guys, McDaniel Challenge is an opportunity to spend some one-on-one quiet time with me. No, I'm not getting weird. It's when you and I get to spend about an hour and a half together, 2 hours talking about what's ever stopping you, blocking you, holding you back from whatever you're trying to achieve in your real estate business, mentally, business strategies, marketing, advertising, you know, how to do something that's crazy, you know, just need to pick me up, whatever. I don't give a shit. You know, it's a free thing. Come on, hang out with me. Dial these numbers, 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. If you are somewhere where you can't have a pen, you don't want to remember that number, go to McDanielChallenge.com and you can sign up there as well, guys. I have one more day, guys, as of this recording. June 30th is my last day in June. We're currently May 13th, so do the math. Shit is filling up fast. Get off the fence. Get onto some sort of mobile device or anything and email me, call me, smoke signals, or carrier pigeons. I don't care. But get booked. You're going to be in July or August here if you don't get going. So there's the McDaniel Challenge. I love you guys beyond words. I am so excited that you guys are following me, following Matt, following the show. We're blessed and honored to have every one of you guys here. We do answer every single thing that's put out, so you know it is either Matt or I. It's not our assistants. Typically, it's going to be me responding to you guys, so you are talking directly to me if it's not on an audio voice. So please reach out, you guys, in all seriousness. I really do want to help you change your lives.
Cool. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher. And we're working on the new website right now, and so that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Next week we've got a couple of good guests, and then we have a solo episode. It looks like on Monday. It's just going to be me and you, Greg. So we've got Andy Green coming up next week. We've got the Wright brothers on Monday. That's going to be a really cool episode. Those are the Wright brothers are a real estate an agent and also branding and marketing experts. They're based out of Arizona. They have their own podcast called The Wright Brothers, and they actually host it on video, kind of Google Hangouts, similar to what we do, so we're excited to have them on. That's going to be a really fun episode. It's going to be me and Greg and Casey and Corey Wright. So 4 people on the show for the first time ever. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah.
How cool is that? Oh, I cannot wait to talk to them. I have a high anticipation that it's going to be a lot of banter. So
I believe. We'll talk about smartphone hacks and lead generation and recruiting and some other stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a fun episode.
This is going to be ridiculous.
All right, guys. So until then, that's at 3 p.m. Pacific on Monday. Join us next week. And until then, everybody have a great weekend.
See you guys.